Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we're coming to you live today from the very windy, chilly city of Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday. Well, it's Tuesday nights. It's around 11:45, 11:50. And we are recording this podcast. So it will be uploaded around midnight, 12:30, something like that. And I hope you enjoyed the bonus episode today. Listen. We all know scam artists. We all most of us, I can't assume, but I grew up in a place where people tell tall tales, you know what I mean? And it's part of the charm, it's part of the tradition, let's say somebody shot a deer, they'll tell you, instead of they say 6 point, they might say 8 point, they'll tell you, it might have took somebody 3 times to shoot it, but they'll tell you they shot it once, dead to center, you know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. And so, yeah, you have to be leery of people and all that kind of stuff. But really, I wouldn't focus on, it's just comical. It's more, for me, the scammers and stuff like that. It's more comical. It's not funny when you first get started and somebody kind of burns you. If you're struggling with money and somebody burns you with money, it's nothing funny. It's nothing to laugh at, but it's more a lesson than anything. So if you have ever felt for a con job, don't get too upset about it. Don't get too annoyed or pissed off or whatever. It's part of learning. It's part of growing. Things like that happen. It's perfect. It's all right. But the most important thing that you can do is not worry about scammers, not worry about people. The most important thing you can do to really excel in whatever and the thing you want to do is to focus on yourself and to get better within yourself. You know what I mean? Like every day just work on getting better. Every day work on doing something, Be in the moment. Stay in the present moment. Don't dream about 5 years from now. Don't dream about, keep a clear focus and have clarity, and have some real deep thoughts, The more you do it, the more you do that, the better off you will be. You need some and of course, listen, you need long-term thinking, but you don't need to. I'll give you an example. I used to have this. I would be working. I would be in the truck, and this is not what we're talking about today, but this is just a sidebar. But I would be working when I was 27, 28. I was in the truck on a full-time basis, and I was like, when was I? I was 27, 2006. Yeah, 2006. I was 27 years old, and so I was rolling, and I was in the truck, and instead of me really honing in on focus on that day, that moment, I would always be like off into dream world, thinking about having millions of dollars for some odd reason. It's just like, how am I gonna get these millions of dollars? It's not a reality, and it's fantasy land, and doing that can really, it doesn't help you a lot. So try not to try not to delve in the fantasy world as often as I did when I was a young man, you know. And you'll be a lot better for it. The more you're focused, the more you're in the moment, and the more you're focused on your business, your goals, the better off you will be, you know. And I say all that just to. Sorry about the yawn. It's been a long day, but I say all that just to help out, because I used to have these wild dreams. It's just about being rich, and it's just like, oh, what's the point, you know? And sometimes I'll be sitting and I'm like, that's cool and all, but I could get there, but how am I gonna get there? And the thought was never about what am I gonna do to get there. The thought was always just like the money's there, and I'm like, that don't make any sense. So I used to have these things, and I'm thinking, what is this, you know? And certainly I wasn't gonna be a gazillionaire from driving trucks. That's for sure. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. You know, today, another side note. We'll get off. So yeah, don't live in the dream state. I said all that just to say don't live in the dream state. And on the side note, I don't know about you young kids, but last night I worked. No, I went to work, and then I got there and I just wasn't. I had nothing for them, so I went home and spent some time with the wife, and we watched a movie, and she was talking to me about, because we have a downstairs living room, and there's a DVD player, there's no cable, and she said, I want to start watching cable down here, and I'm like, all right. And so I've been trying to convince her to. I'm like, let's get rid of the cable. Let's get like a Sling or a Roku or something like that. And she's like, well, you figure all that out and let me know. And I said, all right. And so today I went and I bought a Roku. And I must say, I see why people don't have cable anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I set it up. It was easy to set up. I downloaded the Netflix, the HBO Max, the Disney Plus, all this jazz. And it even let me download the cable service that I had, so my wife could watch some live TV off the cable that we got. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And of course I told my wife, took her downstairs, showed her, and she's like, yeah. And so I'm like, there's a million ways to save a few bucks. That's gonna be one of the ways. I'm gonna cut the cable down. I'm just like, this is kind of ridiculous, you know. I'm probably one of the, well, my parents, they're paying for cable, but they're 67 years old. People my age, you grew up on cable, you're kind of used to it, you know. You're kind of used to complaining about the cable bill and just paying for it, but I know, like, my nephew, he doesn't watch cable. He's like 19. He don't watch TV. He watches everything from his phone, and I'm just like, that's strange. Like, I get it, but I just find that fascinating. And I'm sure he probably like, these people still watching cable. I find them fascinating, but it's a whole thing, you know. But anyway, let's get to the. You know what? We'll take a pause, and then we will get to the segment at hand next. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you noticed or not, but last couple of weeks there's been no. Before we was doing a commercial for Anchor, but I believe I wrote them a couple times and kind of bad about them on the podcast. no more sponsorship from Anchor, from Spotify or Anchor. You know, that's just how it goes. I was getting really annoyed with them because because that's how it is. It's the nature of the beast. It's not a big deal, but I know you missed those commercials, but we got to get the I thought about this the other day, and I thought, in order to get sponsorship, you have to market yourself more. So I got to write more notes, more letters, more, everything. You got to do more. And I'm like, it's gonna be quite awesome when we get some real, because the anchors, it was okay, but it wasn't, it wasn't chunking in that much money. It was enough. It was decent, but it wasn't, it wasn't blowing your mind, of course, But yeah, I thought about that, and I said, one day it'll be like real sponsorships and real, money being made, with this whole, podcast and stuff. But for right now, it's peanuts, but that's okay, because, you got to start from somewhere, you know what I mean? And, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we are going to talk about for the next few minutes. We're going to talk about establishing yourself as a legit business, And there's a number of ways you can go about this, You don't have to be the biggest outfit in the world, but some things that you can do, some ideas from me to you. And I've started this. This week, I got a P.O. box. And I got I'm not going to say my little, but the LLC that I have, I went and applied for, I got a P.O. box, and because I'm going to write more. I want to get my writing out there more. So, you got to do some more submissions, more things of that nature. And so I told myself, I want my rejection letters to go to somewhere else besides my house, Your house is supposed to be your sanctuary, you know what I mean? So if I want to get turned down, at least I can walk because the UPS store is not far from my house. So I can walk down the street, get my rejection letters, read them while I'm walking home, feel better about myself by the time I get home, and it's all right. But nah, it's and plus it also establishes, that hey, this is not a, just a rinky dink, mom and pop operation. And I have a little business phone downstairs that I will be using to, make phone calls and call people and talk to people about, different things, different products, different services that I can provide for them, and things like that, just to set up, a legit, to set up a legit, legit thing, because we talked about this the other day. I talked to you about, I think it was Monday, scripts, and, flying by the seat of your pants and all that stuff. Flying by the seat of your pants, like I told you before, it's cool and everything like that, but eventually you want to get established. Eventually you want to have a nice presentation about you. You know what I mean? And so, that's where I'm at. And you have to get there too. And it's not hard. It's not that, there's different things you can do. You can make a checklist. You can write things down. It depends on what kind of service, what kind of business you want. What are you going to provide for people? You can have, of course, you can have business cards. You can have all this kind of stuff. And the main thing that you want to do, no matter what you do, the main goal for you, for anybody, the main goal is to drive people, is to get information from people. Like, let's say you are an affiliate marketer. You want as many email addresses, you want as many phone numbers as possible. Why do you want this? Because the more emails you have, the more email addresses you have, the better of a chance you're more likely to get a sale. Now, that being said, there's a lot of things that you have to do in order for you to make sure You're gonna get to sell things that you can do. It's all a machine. It all ties in together. It's like a car. If your alternator is out, the car won't run. If your starter's out, the car won't run. If you have no coolant, the car blow up. The engine will blow up. It's all a unit, and you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. And establishing yourself as a legit business is the first thing you can do. It's a domino effect. And because let's say you call up somebody, let's say you call up Bob and you say, hey Bob, I'm a lawyer or whatever, and I want to legally represent you, and Bob says, so send me a card or send me credentials or send me some price information or something. And what if you have none of that? And what are you gonna say? Oh no, you want to have a package. You want to have because a lot of times this is what happens. You call up somebody, and I've seen this done before. So this is why I had a situation one time. Me and my cousins, we wanted to start a lawn care business. Okay, we wanted to start a lawn care business. The worst idea ever with these people. So it was 4 of us, and we went to somebody's house. We didn't set up anything. We said all of a sudden we was walking down the street. This is how it happened. We walking down the street, and I was like, man, I gotta make some money. And I said, I've been mowing yards, but they're not paying me a lot. So I need more yards to mow. I was getting like $6, $5 here, $6 there, but nothing really to sneeze at. And my cousin said, oh man, I know a lady, we can mow her yard and get some real money. And I was like, all right, bet. I said we can team up. And so my other 2 cousins, they was with us, and they was like, I want to get in on this, man. We can all make some money. And I said, all right, let's all work together, man. So we didn't establish price, so we went to somebody's house, and it's 4 of us. Knocking on the door. They open the door. We tell them, hey, we in the lawn care business, and we want to cut your grass. And they said, how much? So it's 4 of us. I said the price. Somebody hit me and said, nah, that's too much. Somebody said another price. Somebody else said another price. And I'm looking, and I said, we look like the 3 Stooges. We look like the 4 Stooges right now. And the lady said, what price do y'all want? And my cousin said, we had to come back with the price. We got to work this out. And it was one of the most annoying things that I ever done. And it was funny at the time, but it's definitely not funny now because we didn't have anything established. We didn't have a phone number. We didn't have anything. And so to really hunker down your business, you want to have things established. Even though, like I said before, the one thing about the internet businesses are, you shouldn't even, and that's another thing that we should talk about. You should not think of your business as an internet business. You should just think of your business as a business, because it does not matter. Internet, offline, online, does not matter. It does not matter. You want to treat it the same. You want to treat this business like you own a McDonald's franchise. You want to treat this business as it's a building. Because I know a lot of times for a lot of us, starting a business online is a lot easier because it's a cheaper way to go. It's not like you need $1 million to start a McDonald's franchise, or you need $250,000 to start a Cold Stone franchise. It's it's easy. It's an easier point of entry, but you still have to treat it as a legit business. You know what I mean? And so you want to do that, and you have to establish things. So having an address where you can send packages, get packages, that's something. Maybe a telephone, maybe another cell phone, that's something. Stationery, letterheads, cards, flyers, posters, anything that you can do to establish yourself as a business, do it, okay? And that way, that's another good way to market yourself, because what if let's say you're passing out cards to 100 people, and this person somebody says, hey man, I would like to do a birthday party, but I don't know where to turn to. And somebody says, oh, I got a card. I met a guy, and they do parties. Boom. That's a good way, That's a good way to get money. That's a good way to market. That's a good way to promote without having to promote, with cards. You pass the cards around. When I was in that goofy MLM for a little while, I had cards, and I would just put them under people's car, And I had these little 4x6 cards that I would put in different places, But hey, it was something, And you definitely want to have that kind of stuff, The more stuff you do with promotion, the more marketing you do. Of course, we talked about this. The more money you will make, And it's just the bottom line. And so you want to establish yourself. You want to come off as a real legit business. And so in order for you to do that, you must get serious about, having some type of phone or somewhere to you just don't want to, because we all know these days, how many of you answer unanswered phone? How many of you answer phone calls that you don't know the number? Raise your hand if you do. Well, congratulations if you do, because I know I don't. Okay? I get these robocalls. I get those stupid robocalls. I don't answer those. I only answer phone calls from people that I know. But if my little phone that I have, for the copyright, for the writing services, for the publishing business, I answer the phone because I know it's a potential that it's somebody that wants to do business with me, and that's just how it is. And so we're gonna get more established, more serious, and I hope the same for you. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Go out, get things set up so you can really focus on. And the more you have stuff set up, the more you can move forward. Have your pricing set up, have everything set up, and you can just get to getting. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. Well, we'll be back today with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves, because today's podcast is gonna upload on Wednesday. No, today's podcast is gonna Tuesday's podcast is gonna upload Wednesday night around 12:45, 1 o'clock. And so we'll be back today with an all new episode later on of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.